Hey there. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. I'll say that again. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast. Oh, yep, with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started. Now it's time for the Big Bad Broadcast.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to the Big Bad Broadcast. We're big, we're bad, and we're broadcasting.
Yeah, that was sexy, baby.
That's right. We're no longer the Bitchin Baby Boomers because we needed to go to a bigger demographic because of the incredible guests that we're getting on the show. And thanks to one of our guests we have today for getting some of those guests. So it's been a great week. I am now officially a grandpa. Which is, and I think we have a picture of my lovely girlfriend Chris and her daughter's baby.
Let me get it. It's somewhere here. There you go.
There we go. There it is. Little baby boy Griffin, 8 pounds 1 ounces.
Oh, what a cutie!
Yeah,
the baby's cute
cool.
too. Hey,
I'll be here all week. So anyway, let me introduce you to the guys. You just met baby Griffin. We got Mike Grief.
Yeah, man, I'm ready to go, baby.
New
We
sexy
got
name with the power.
We got Joe Silkie.
Or as I like to call him, the other bald guy.
And we got Craig Yoda Mitchell.
Joe, if you could do that with bagels, I'd marry you.
Oh. You just gotta flip them over, Joe, and they'll be bagels.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, let's do it again. There we go, bagels.
Can you do it with one with a smear on it?
And they magically changed the donuts.
There we go.
I wanted to come out with a smear on it already.
Yeah, well, only if he's not
Pigeon dropping.
Oh, no. All right. Okay.
So it's been an incredible week. Mike, what do you got? Anything?
Yeah, you know what, man? It's all of these shortages, man. I'll tell you. I went to go get gas the other day, and it was like, here, I'm in California. The gas is like $5 a gallon. It's bullshit. They're talking about there's a shortage. Everything. It's all this manufactured shortages with everything. It's like it started with toilet paper. Everyone was hoarding toilet, and mostly you see it's these hillbillies in pickup trucks hoarding toilet. They're more worried about their ass than their teeth. Hoard fucking toothpaste, it's whatever, and it's like and the gasoline. What kind of shit is this? It's like I love it. First of all, they raise the price everyone ever because they talk about blends. There's a summer blend and there's a winter blend. I got a fall blend. It's not coffee. It's gas. You lying sacks of shit. Do you have to really make up an excuse to raise the price every 3 fucking days?
Pretty soon when you pull in, there'll be like a concierge. Can I show you something in a winter blend?
Yeah. I want a guy. When you walk into the bathroom in the gas station, there's going to be a guy. Would you like some cologne? It's
I hate those guys. I hate those guys. All you want to do is wash your hands. You don't need some slimy comb and some aftershave. You just want that guy to leave you alone.
Yeah, and did you? And also, how about that? There's a shortage in wood. There was a shortage in wood. I don't know about you, but I have never had a shortage with wood.
Well, wait till you're 72.
Well, see, but you don't even have to have a shortage because I love it. They got Viagra, Cialis. What is about 14 things for guys your age that whatever.
Wait, you want to know? You want to know how bad the shortage of wood is? This is a true story. My neighbor's house burnt down. They came and they plywooded up all the windows, and someone stole the plywood.
Yeah. But that's not the kind of wood you're talking about. I'm talking about the wood that you don't have anymore.
No.
But I love it because now there's 14 drugs now to help, which I think is totally unfair. So you're a young guy, you're 22, 23, you're just starting out in life, you got a job. You walk in a bar and you got to compete with John Ferrantino now, who's like, got all the money in the world and he can get wood because he's got the drugs to do it. It's just not fair.
I
don't have to compete with John Ferrant, 22-year-old guy. Spooky stuff so hey. Inside my shorts, clearly marked danger. Spooky stuff inside.
Don't make fun of my magic wand. Don't make fun of the magic wand.
Oh my God.
That's it, man. I've just been, that's true because, like I said, I went for gas, and it's just crazy, and I can't stand the bullshit excuses. And they're saying there's lack of truck drivers, it's like, give me a break, It's like there is no lack of anything. There's 4 million Amazon drivers. Why is there a lack of truck drivers? Because you maybe have to pay them a little more.
Because they say, this is what I've read. If you want the facts, just the facts, ma'am.
Yeah.
Apparently, during when people thought we had COVID, even though we still have it, a lot of the truck drivers, people weren't using their cars, so the truck drivers were in less demand. They went to work for Amazon, and now in order to become a truck driver, you have to be recertified. So there's a shortage of truck drivers.
Right,
I believe that.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question that happens out here in California. Because my survival job is rideshare. So I drive by my house. I can get gas for $3.99 a gallon. And for most of the country, they're like, how much? Yeah, $3.99 is cheap here. But if I come off the highway in downtown, the Shell station is like $6 a gallon. What? How do they get away with that shit?
Well, look, if they put it in a neighborhood, if you live in a wealthy neighborhood, you're going to pay $6 a gallon. But you're driving a Hummer or something like that anyway, so you deserve to pay $6.
Oh, we're back on wood again, are we?
We're back on wood again.
Okay, so right after one of the hurricanes, there was no gas stations open in Florida. And I was driving along in Orlando, and I went and I saw a gas station that had gas. I pulled up, and I was about to fill it up with gas, and the guy comes up to me, and he says, you don't want to buy anything, you don't want any gas from here. And I go, why? He goes, I just bought this 6-pack of beer. It was $22. Look at the price of the gas. It was $12.99 a gallon.
Wow.
And this was like gas was $1.95 normally.
I'm sorry, $12.99 a gallon. It better come with a reach around.
Wait, so I actually called Shell to find out, and they said, well, it's a private company. He can charge whatever he wants. It's not It's not price gouging because he's an independent gas station, and he always charges that amount because he's near the gas station, near where people drop off their rental cars. So it's not price gouging because that's his normal price. So I guess people in the morning poor people are running for an airplane. They pull up because they don't want to get hosed by the car dealership, so they fill up for $12.99 a gallon without looking at how much the gas is going to be.
That's capitalism, man. I wonder if it's the same like with weed, where you pull up into a wealthy area, you're going to pay, twice as much for your weed as you do if I go down to Compton or somewhere, I'm probably going to, get listen, people drive to Costco to get cheaper gas and cheaper groceries. I'm going to drive to a poor neighborhood to get my drugs.
I just found a story this morning in Florida that in the town next to me, they found 750 pounds of high-quality weed in a storage unit. And it says it's worth $2 million street value.
Yeah, it's Woody Harrelson's storage unit.
It says that if you're missing the weed, if you'd like to come down to the police station and claim it, they'd be happy to give it back to you.
My God. That's like that scam. Remember the police were doing? It's like they'd send out things to people that had warrants on them.
Yeah.
Said, you won tickets to the Super Bowl or something like that.
Right.
Well, gas here on Long Island is like $3.10 a gallon.
Yeah. I just don't understand.
I don't know a horse for
That's
that.
What I fill up my guest car with. $3.10 a gallon.
I don't understand how gas one day is $3, say, and the next day it's 3:15. What
The
happened
summer
in those
blend.
24 hours?
It's the autumn blend, John. It's the autumn. Come on.
It's pumpkin spice gas, bro.
Knock it.
Anyway, enough about gas. Joe, what's going on with you?
Okay, we're talking about stuff that gets us going. Is you go into a restaurant, waitress comes over and you say, oh, can I get a glass of water? No problem. I'm paying your salary. I'm leaving you a tip. At least say thank you. I mean, okay. So it's probably because I'm older that I want to hear thank you instead of no problem. But you know what? All us old people that want to hear thank you are going to die out soon. So then you can say no problem. You can say whatever you want.
I don't know. I want to reach around.
There's all sayings.
Here comes Mike.
There's all sayings like that make no sense.
Oh.
Whatever.
Oh, yeah. Whatever. You know what? That's somebody telling you to go screw yourself when they go whatever. You're like talking to somebody and they're trying to make a point and they go whatever. That they're really just saying screw you.
Or how about the garbage man posted living the dream?
Yeah, living the dream. That's a crappy ass dream, man. No.
Know which one I hate? I hate when they go, no offense, but at that point they're going to say your butt is really fat, Craig. You're going to, but no offense. Yeah. No offense. You're ugly as shit, but no offense.
Yeah, no. Hey. But I mean that in the nicest way.
Yeah,
you're like an ugly. You're an ugly.
Because you know what, Craig?
You scare little children. No offense.
Because you know what it is, Craig. It is what it is.
At the end of
my
day,
best friends are.
It is what it is.
No. You know what I hate? I hate when people. I mean, I have sympathy, and everyone, we will all have pets. I hate when people say, oh, they crossed over the Rainbow Bridge. It's like, okay, it's a beautiful thing to think about, but people care more about their dogs than they do about other human beings. Hey, did you hear about Joe? Yeah, that dumb bastard. Who cared? What? Fuck him. He's,
Yeah, that's when they always go, he's in a better place.
Yeah.
What, in the ground?
Yeah, that's a better place. Well, for Joe, it's a better place. But
out here, that means Beverly Hills. He's in Beverly
and
Hills.
I guess he can no longer think outside the box.
Yeah.
You mean outside the boomer box?
Outside the boomer box. Oh God.
Oh, how about when hell freezes over?
Yeah, that's another one. That's knife, or put down the knife. Oh, no, that's a different one. That's
make a long story short.
Make a long story short.
And
Yeah.
it's never short. Never. What's the long version? Holy shit.
Or how about the guy's wife just left him? He's all depressed, and somebody goes, "There's plenty of fish in the sea."
Yeah, but
I don't want to
smell the same.
I don't want a fish. I want a woman.
Yeah, there's plenty of fish in the sea, but they all smell the same.
Oh,
hey,
man.
Well, you only know that if you grab the low-hanging fruit.
That's when you go to a geriatric gay bar. The low-hanging fruit is all there.
That's when you're over 70.
Yes.
Well, in other words.
Oh. Hey, I'm only human. What the hell else are you?
Maybe they're an alien.
Yeah. It's just there's enough of these things.
No,
so
there's one. I gotta tell you, I have been in recovery, and there's one of the slogans they have in recovery that drives me nuts, and this is it: little by slowly. Drives me crazy. What? What little by slowly? What? I want it now. I want it friggin' now. Little by slowly, just little.
That doesn't make any sense. Little by slowly.
Little by slowly. Just.
Oh yeah, I guess it does.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
I guess.
I guess
it is what it is.
You know what it sounds like? You know what it sounds like to me? It's like little by slowly. It's what you say to the judge. What were the last things he said to you? Little by slowly. Little by slowly.
I watch his face turn blue.
Yeah.
Little by slowly.
Yeah.
Has anyone actually burned a candle from both ends?
I don't know, but I've had hemorrhoids and toothache at the same time. So that's why
Ooh.
burning
So
something.
he's now working on a trick with a candle. I bet I can do that.
I think we beat this dog to death.
Yes.
Well, you can because I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Oh.
All right. What else? Joe, what else, Craig? What do you have?
I already used it.
Okay. Well, I just want to have equal opportunity.
All right, here's one. Don't look at me. There you go.
Okay, we'll go to Joe.
All right. So, in New York City, you're not allowed to have your dog on the subway with you anymore. So there are some pretty ingenious New Yorkers that have found a way around this. If the dog fits into a bag, you can carry the dog with you.
Except he's not going to walk well when you cut his legs off. He fits in a bag. He fits in my bag. Here, look, he's
so
alive,
Craig's
right?
got a video, and
Hey, let's roll it because it's in the bag.
bag of dogs. Oh my God!
that's
How
dogs in the
embarrassing!
bag. But the
New
funny
meaning to
thing-
doggy bag.
Yeah. But the funny thing is, okay, with the IKEA bags, those poor dogs, it's like they get this IKEA bag and they're all excited. They're inside of it. And all of a sudden they go down to the subway and there's hundreds of other dogs in this bag and they go to their owner. You couldn't get me something different? You couldn't get me something special?
I know, and I wonder how many people have paid for those IKEA bags. IKEA should be at the subway charging them for their bags.
No, they put the bag on them, and there's always an extra piece laying up by that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so you got to put your dog together.
You know
That reminded me of a takeout food brochure from South Korea.
Oh man, you know what? And I thought, how embarrassing for these dogs are going to grow up to be psychotic. Remember when we were kids, and I remember my father made me wear skip sneakers, and I was wearing bell bottoms with stripes on them. But this was like in the 70s, after the movement was over. These dogs are going to all be like so embarrassed to see each other on the street when they don't have to wear their bag anymore.
Anyway,
Yeah, one dog looks at the other one and goes, "I thought you'd be taller." Out of your bed.
You guys are having to clean the bags.
Yeah.
That's why they do it.
No, you just use supermarket bags. Only 10 cents at the supermarket, so you change your bag every time.
The one guy had a really big dog in like a black hefty bag. You know that type of bag, Mike? The ones you put bodies in.
what?
The ones that come with their own handles because you carry nothing. Those are contractor bags, John.
Oh, there you go.
Contractor bags.
Not that I know anything about it. You know what I'm saying? Hey.
And here's another one. Not for nothing. Not for nothing.
Hey.
What does that even mean? Not for nothing. I don't know.
I think we beat that one to death.
Yeah. Hey, we have our guest patiently waiting.
Yes, let's talk. Let's get off this insanity.
Yeah, good idea.
Let's bring more insanity in.
Well, our guest today is Matt Nappo. I met Matt about a year and a half ago. He actually took my cooking show, my comedy cooking show, and he had a show on Roku for a while, and he actually was kind enough to put my show there. He has a really great podcast called the Mind Dog TV podcast. It's very popular. We've been on it. I've been on it several times. He's very, very generous with his time and his talent, and he's got a great story. And And he also helped us get Tommy Chong on the show, which was amazing.
Huge. You're just huge.
Huge. So let's please welcome our guest today, Matt Nappo. Let's hear it for him. Hey, Matt.
Hey, thanks, guys. It's great to be here. The dog stuff got me going because I'm the mine dog. But I'm used to putting the bag on the dog after I get her home. On the
two-bagger.
Two-bagger. I'm usually the one wearing the bag.
Yeah.
I'm usually in the bag. Thank you so much. There you
go. How come I'm bigger than you guys? I hate that. People are seeing me now. I'm the ugliest guy here.
Because you are the guest.
Well, we can change it if you want.
Is that dog barking for real, or is it just like a sound effect?
That's a sound effect. That's my dog because they're putting in a new guardrail on my pool.
Oh,
interesting.
So I didn't even hear it. I didn't even hear it. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
If you come later, you'll hear it screaming because John will be hitting it. No, I'm just.
and John, your wall is brought to us by Bob Dylan. It's blowing in the wind.
Yeah. There you go.
I'm just another brick in the wall.
Yeah, John had Taco Bell for lunch. So
yeah.
I can't use a green screen with my StreamYard.
Yeah, I don't use one either.
No, me neither.
And I have a complete green screen studio back here.
Wow.
Easy for you to say.
It must not be lit right or something.
No, it will not. For some reason, it won't let me use it on Safari on my Mac.
Interesting.
I always admired the way you light your background. You always look great on yours, Matt. Really
I try to be in the dark as much as possible because I am like a really ugly bastard. If I put the light on, it will scare people away. So I try to make it.
We would never say that about you in front of you.
It doesn't.
So Matt, you're from Long Island, right?
I am from Long Island, yes.
Most of us are. I'm from Queens, actually, which everyone thinks is Long Island, but
yeah. Silkie mentioned $3.10 a gallon. It's not that quite that here. Where I am, it's still in like $2.75, $2.80.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where's that? Where are you?
I'm in Shoreham, but there's no people here, so there's not a lot of need for.
Well, didn't they have a big nuclear meltdown there at one time?
Yeah, well, there is a nuclear power plant in my backyard. Yes,
that's my guess. That's my guess is that price.
Yeah,
I've noticed that as you drive, towards the city, it just keeps going up.
Right, and if you go out towards the Hamptons, there's a Hess station out right before you get to East Hampton, and I think it's like $6 a gallon there.
Man, $6 a gallon.
Yeah, it is based on what the people can afford to pay. Here's the thing, though: the Exxon, I think, posted record profits last year, and so all this stuff is just manufactured based on what they think people will pay for it at what time and what people will accept. And that's all it is because they're not losing money. There's no reason to raise the prices except more profit.
That's it. Capitalism without morality doesn't work, and there's no more morality. It used to work back when people had some sense of decency, but
that's what always kills me with the gas prices. How, like, one day, how does it jump up 15 cents? Right. Like, what happened in 24 hours? You know what I mean? It's like they didn't get a gas delivery.
See, in California, they say, "Oh, there was a fire at the refinery, and they had to shut down one." And now the price. And the thing is, in truth, that wouldn't affect us for months, but they start gouging the moment something happens. Somebody farted at the refinery, paying 10 cents more.
Meanwhile, it's a guy with they got a smoke can. It's like, hey Bob, go light the smoke can. We're gonna pretend we had a fire this week. We got to raise prices.
Hey, but thank God, we're over the Knish shortage.
That's that
was a real thing, right? That was a real thing. Yeah. There's one place in all of America, I think, that makes the Knishes.
I don't know if you guys are experiencing it yet, but my wife is very concerned about it. I've noticed it for a couple of weeks now. Supermarkets here, and all places where you buy stuff, the shelves are empty, and where there's a supply chain problem. There's stuff you can't buy. You go to the supermarket and the shelves are empty.
I I just drove by Long Beach Harbor, and you see all the tanker trucks. Yeah, they're underwater.
Tanker trucks are in the water.
Yes,
that's why they're not pulling into port.
No, but all the boats are just backed up, like they're circling like airplanes, and they're not.
Not like that in Florida.
See, I don't have a shortage because here's another one for you, John. Yeah, I got a guy.
So no, this is true. Wait, excuse me 1 second. About a year ago, I went into the bagel place, and the guy's from New York, and I know he's from New York because he only carries Boar's Head cold cuts, so that's a plus. So he has an article up on the paper from the New York Times. Get ready for the knish shortage. And it appears that there's only one factory in Brooklyn that makes all the knishes for the entire country. They make square ones and the round ones. They make both.
What?
And you know what? There was a fire in the knish factory, and they go, and the article is just so funny. When people are bracing for the knish shortage.
Hey, you know what? I just had an idea. We should ask Matt about Matt.
Nah.
we have a guest. We should actually ask him stuff.
Well, he's really dying for a knish right now.
Me too.
Actually, I never had a knish in my life, and I don't think I'm ever going to. I think I'm going to die.
Oh man, it's delicious.
You don't want to die being knishless.
Speaking of dying, I have a stalker. I don't know if you guys know about my stalker.
No.
Probably
Really?
Yeah. About a year and a half ago, I was looking for a scientist to talk about simulation theory on my podcast because I'm really interested in this idea that atheists for years there's no such thing as God, and then all of a sudden they found God to be a geek, computer programmer living in mom's basement, with a laptop. And so this simulation theory really got me interested. So I was looking for a scientist. None of the scientists wanted to come on and talk about it. But I got one guy who claimed to be an expert on it because he wrote a book where he claimed, and this was kind of far-fetched and it should have been a warning sign. He wrote a book before 2016 that he claimed predicted Donald Trump's election, but it didn't. It was really
The warning sign should have been that the book was written in crayon.
So the guy was coming up with all these weird coincidences that, every day I saw my daughter's name on a vanity license plate. That means we're living in a simulation. Things like that. I drove past a church and the sign had my name on it or something like that. And he's thinking, well, that's proof of simulation theory. So I had this guy on, and it was a struggle of an interview. Obviously, he didn't sell any books from it. About a year goes by, and he bashes me on Facebook like, your podcast means nothing. I didn't sell a single book from your stupid podcast. You're not promoting me hard enough. Either take my episode down or promote it harder. So I took it down. I erased it. I said, it's gone forever. You were a shitty guest. That's why you didn't sell any books. And so that was the end of it, I thought. And then 3 months later, he started sending me apology emails. I'm really sorry. I was wrong, and I blocked him everywhere I could, and he just kept persisting. And then finally he said, "Could you put it back up? I would love it if you put that episode." I said, "I erased that the second you told me to take it down." And so now I'm getting apology emails from him daily, and like I really feel bad about it. I want to connect with you, and I just had like a cease and desist, and I had to go to the cops and say this. Then he posted something on Facebook about I'm ready to crack. People pray for me. I'm losing my mind and all this stuff. And then the next day he's reaching out to me, so I was like, I got to go to the cops and get his name on record. If something happens to me, God forbid. Because I've had stalkers before. Back when I did my radio show, I had a guy call me. I was in the radio studio.
He's on the phone for you.
You want me to make a phone call, Matt? Because I got a guy.
I know. I got a guy, too.
Craig's writing down the guy's name to ask him to get him on the show.
You don't want him on your show. Believe me, the guy is 100% Fruit Loops.
Is he hot? No, just kidding.
No.
No, I didn't think so. Even
as a completely heterosexual man, I can tell you this guy doesn't do anything for me.
Okay, all right. So one of the things in your bio that I mean, I've known you for a little over a year now, but that fascinated me is that you left your home at 14, and that you said you kind of grew up in the surroundings very similar to Goodfellas, which is one of my favorite movies. And I thought maybe you could expand a little bit about that if you're comfortable.
Sure. When I was 9 years old, my friend Lenny from across the street came over and said, my father's going to be in a movie with Marlon Brando. And I went to my parents and said, Lenny's father's going to be in a movie with Marlon Brando. And he said, Lenny, he was going to get a horse for his birthday. Lenny's a bullshit artist. Don't believe in Lenny. And then The Godfather came out, and sure enough, Lenny's father was in the movie. He played Luca Brasi. So he was kind of a mentor to me. The guy who played Luca Brasi, his name is Lenny Montana. Real name is Lenny Pastafaro. He was a former wrestler. Grew up with him as kind of a role model, taking me to Typhoon Fence company events, which Typhoon Fence was a complete front for the mob. Lenny Montana was the real deal. He was an old school hitman. He told Engelbert Humperdinck's manager, either sign over his record rights to the boss, or I'm going to punch your spleen out. And so
I like him already.
That line that from Mario Puzo, he held a gun to his head and said, either sign the contract or your brains or your signature or brains will be there. That was based on that conversation with Lenny and Engelbert Humperdinck's manager. Constantly trucks showing up full of merchandise that you could buy right from in front of Lenny's house. A tractor trailer full of stuff you could buy out of the back. Yeah. My father was a bookie, and part of that JFK, Lufthansa, all that kind of. Yeah. That,
my wife is from Howard Beach.
So you know the area.
She went to school with the Gottis, yeah.
The culture. Mm-hmm. So my neighborhood and where I grew up in a place called the American Venice, which, all Italians, all mob wannabes, all people who glorified the mob like the Henry Hill stuff. And so my father was a bookie, and so we were rich one week and poor the next week constantly. Depending on how the football teams did and the horse racing and all that stuff, we would either be living high life or, poor as can be, depending on it.
Wow.
So it was a stressful time. So 14, I kind of just packed my bags. Instead of getting on the school bus, I called my friend and said, take me to Eastern Airlines. I want to get a ticket to Orlando. And at that time, at 14 years old, you could buy 14-year-old with no ID, go in and buy a one-way ticket to Orlando, Florida.
Did you know anybody in Orlando?
I knew. I had a friend of mine who his stepfather had a trailer park and said there was work there in the summers. If I wanted to come work the summers at his trailer park, that would be cool, and he'd find a place for me to stay. And so I went there, and I worked my way through high school living in a RV in his trailer park.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was your father freaking out?
Well, they didn't know I was gone for like 3 days. Basically they were used to me being. I was pretty much a wild kid by that point. By the time I was 14, so they were used to me staying out overnight sometimes and not reporting back. So it's like 3 days before they realized I was gone, and then by the time they realized I was gone, I was working at Walt Disney World in the magic shop there on Main Street.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice. Dad was making book on whether you'd return or not.
Right. And the FBI came in and said, we understand you have some wayward kid working here. And so basically they were looking for me, and I refused to go home. They took me in, interrogated me, and I said, no, I'm not going home. I don't have to go home. You can't make me go home. And they said, no, we can make you go home. As a matter of fact, you're a minor. You're not supposed to be here. You're not an emancipated minor. So I had to fight for my emancipation, then went back to Florida, finished school there.
Wow.
And then made my way out to New Mexico and put myself through college working on a cattle ranch.
So you're a self-made man.
My father's Italian brother, Frankie, ran away when he was 14, and they caught him somewhere. And they made my grandmother, this little 90-year-old Italian woman, send him a train ticket back.
Wow.
And she sent him the train ticket, and he cashed it in and kept going.
See, I ran away from home, but I was 32 at the time. It's a little different.
What I wanted to ask you, Matt, is when you graciously appeared on my cooking show last year, and you played I don't know how to
gangster.
I have a picture of it. you're on my show playing the enforcer on the show. So I guess you actually knew people like that, or was it based on your father?
My Uncle Rich was a hitman. They took me on a hit at 5 years old.
What?
Nice.
Yeah, a very weird situation. My Uncle Chicky, I had Uncles Hop, Uncle Chicky, stuff like that.
I had 10 Sonny boys in my family.
Yeah.
Everyone was Sonny boy.
Uncle Chick was a bartender in East New York and got beat up and robbed. And Uncle Rich was a hitman and came over and told my father about it. And Uncle Rich was crazy as shit. I don't know if I can curse on here. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can.
Absolutely.
Watch your fucking language. No.
Yeah, fuck
yeah. So he decided to take, he was hot blooded. Come on, we got to go right now and fix this. And they drove into East New York. And for some reason, I was alone with my father, which was a bad thing for a 5-year-old to ever be alone with my father because he was a madman. But they took me to East New York, parked in front of the bar, told me to get that in the back seat, locked the doors. And they came. I heard the shots, and they come running out, and then taking off in the streets of East New York, Brooklyn, telling me to keep my head down. Meanwhile, people are shooting at us now as we're driving away. It was a crazy thing. So I'm sure the statute of limitations is done with that, and everybody in the story is dead, so I could talk about it freely. But it was my first experience with. It was serious organized crime. Somebody actually got killed.
5 years old. 5 years old is good because you got to find out early if you got an aptitude for it or not. And so
and you got to find out if you're fast enough. Too.
Whacking a guy is an acquired taste. So it's like, hey, might as well either check that box off and get it out of the way, or go, hey, he's good at this.
Yeah, and Uncle Rich, the guy who I modeled that character for Craig's show off of, he called me up one time. He said, "Listen, Monty." It never got my name right. Called me Marty, Monty, whatever. Listen, Monty, I hear you going out to New Mexico. I got a girl out there. She's a bitch like your mother. Anyway, I want you to bring her a package of pastries for me. It's about 27 pounds of pastries. Can you do me a favor and bring she's out in Arizona. I'm going to New Mexico. He goes, no, she's in Tucson, Arizona. I'll make it worth your while. And it turns out it was 27 pounds of heroin. He wanted me to bring out to some woman in Tucson, Arizona. He had a deal for me and pulling it off as pastry. So that's the kind of guy my Uncle Rich was. Very scary, weird.
Man, I just got hungry thinking of 27 pounds of pastry, though.
Oh my God!
Yeah. You know how much pastries it would.
A whole carb full of it.
It'd be like a washing machine box,
right? It would keep Silkie in stuff in props forever.
I worked at a comedy club once that was so Grandpa Lewis. He was a big mobster.
Al Lewis.
Yeah, Al Lewis.
Ted Cruz.
And the guy who ran the club, he walks in there and, typical, he goes, Johnny Ferrantino, I hear with my ears. You are a very funny man, right? And he goes, let me tell you what I got going on here. This is something you can't write. He goes, basically, I'm into the comedy and the import-export business. Like, what does that even?
We're going to export you.
What does that even mean?
I think we know.
Was he focusing more on the importing or the exporting?
Oh man!
So Matt, why don't you tell us about the one thing when I read your bio is music is probably the biggest component of that. How did I saw that you toured for a while nationwide in the band. Tell us about that.
Well, the glamorous life of a wannabe rock star is basically eating tuna fish out of a can in the back of a van, sleeping in the van because you can't afford motel rooms, and preying. They prey on people's lust for fame and fortune and all that kind of stuff, and basically take advantage of you. So when you're an opening act for, and the acts I opened up for were big in the 60s. By the time I was in 1980 when I was doing it, they were all has-beens and, before or trying to make their comebacks, people like Dionne Warwick. Carlos Santana was probably the biggest one. Average White Band, people like that, opening up for them. But you get paid nothing. I mean, you get paid, or we'll give you $50, but meanwhile you got to drive 1,200 miles with 4 people in a van. But you think, well, it's an opportunity for exposure, right? But the only thing anybody ever got from exposure was frostbite, right? I mean, basically. So after 2 years of doing that, we finally signed a record deal. We're going to get all the stuff that happened. And then you find out how the record business works, really. And then they're just using you as kind of a write-off. They give you a very small advance, and somehow with really creative accounting, make it look like they paid you $2 million or something when they actually gave you $10,000, $20,000, something like that.
That's why you need your friend's dad, Lenny's dad over there to make a deal for you.
Well, Dad was not. I think Dad was dead by that time, but he was not supportive of the whole music. That was just part of he wanted me to go into.
The family business.
Bookmaking, yes.
Yeah. That's like when I went into comedy, my dad thought I was just trying to escape getting a real job, going into the, whatever. But same thing. Yeah, no, that's the old, whatever. You know what I mean? It's like you got to go and get a real job. I mean, show business isn't a real job to everyone.
Yeah, and they always talked about a fallback position. Like, what the hell am I? What's my fallback? My fallback is bookmaking. That's and my history, with betting was not very good. So I was not very lucky in that respect. So it wasn't going to be a good thing for me. So that's why I left home. But with regards to the music business, I quit so many times. Went into I tried my hand at stand-up comedy, decided that I couldn't afford that job.
Yeah.
It cost me more to work that job than it cost me in rent every month, just to get started in comedy, which I can't imagine how people actually have the patience to see that through. I mean, basically, I was working in wedding bands at the time, so I'd have to take off a wedding gig to go to a club. Then I'd have to bring 5 people, and I didn't have 5 friends who would come to see me, so I'd have to bring my girlfriend or wife and their friends, and then pay for dinner. So I'm taking off. I'm losing $300 from the wedding gig. Now I'm buying everybody dinner. It's costing me $500 for a 3-minute spot at a comedy club.
What year did you start doing comedy?
I think it was like 79, 80, somewhere around there, maybe 81.
What did you perform?
Kankama Comedy Club.
Kankama Comedy Club.
Yeah.
I love this place.
That was not the end of the world, but you can see it from there.
There's another one that's out
it's
there.
It's off-Broadway, right? That's an off-Broadway theater.
Yeah,
I love the Kankama Comedy Club. I loved it. It was fun.
It's filled with pagan bikers, that place.
Yeah, that's who was there the night I was doing it. And I was trying to, I was doing a little bit of magic, music, and comedy combined in the show, and there was no patience for that shit at all.
You could have been John Ferrantino.
Yeah. And so, out of 3 minutes, 1 minute in, I was scared shit and like looking to get off stage and feeling like it was an hour anyway. So it was a brutal experience.
Hey,
but
at least you had a fallback as a musician. You know what a fallback for a comedian is? Mime.
Yeah, sure. That's and now since 2000, you've been. I think you're a founding member. Correct me if I'm wrong. Of the Rocking 45s, because I see you post all the time. I watch some of your live stuff. It's great stuff.
Yeah, I enjoy playing with the band. It's we do a lot of original music. I write constantly. We do a lot of original music, but we're basically a cover band, a cover band. But we're known. We started out, playing small places, and we would just go and set up. And basically, if we were supposed to start at 7:00, we'd be there by 5 and start playing anyway, just warming up, and play till 11 or 12, straight through, no breaks, no breaks even between songs, just like it's one continuous segue for 7 hours. Wow. And so we built up a reputation of being like a marathon party band. Just keep people there, keep them dancing, don't let them go. And so it became very popular for a while. Nautical Mile, we were booked every night of the week on the Nautical Mile, up and down the mile, different places.
That's Freeport?
Yeah, right? Yeah. And that was a resurgence of the Nautical Mile. They were building it up after, after 9/11, especially. It was kind of taking off, and they were making it like a tourist spot. And we kind of ruined it, though, because now they have decibel meters there, where cops walk around in the street with decibel meters saying the band's too loud and they're getting fired.
What?
And the decibel meter is 86 dB. To give you an idea of what 86 dB is, right now I'm talking about 84 dB.
Oh,
Wow.
That's insane. That's
And,
totally
yeah.
insane.
And motorcycles would drive by and set off the meter, and the band would get fined. So we left a mile, but we've been working steady for 20 years. It's a lot of fun. Last night I was watching Henry Phillips punching Henry, and there's a point where he's with a young comic who tells him, "I don't want to be working these kind of rooms when I'm in my 40s." And he's in his 40s at the time, and he just kind of realizes that, man, I've wasted my life. And I thought, imagine playing those rooms when you're in your 60s, because that's what I'm doing. I'm playing the rooms that nobody would want to play and would look at it and there was a woman who said, if a normal person had that going on in their life, they'd be looking to make some changes.
But no chicken wire, right? You don't play the places.
I played with the chicken wire, and we're not doing that now, but I played certainly in places like that. Played with a band called Magic Mountain Band in West Virginia, and they played a lot of those chicken wire places.
Wow.
Yeah, real, like exactly the same as what was depicted in the Blues Brothers, where they're throwing beer bottles at the chicken wire.
It's like an insult if you don't get beer bottles thrown at you, right?
Right.
It's part of the gig.
Yeah.
Jim Myers and I. Jim Myers was a comic. This is like in the early '90s. We drove for hours into the deepest, weirdest part of Connecticut, and we drive up front and we see this little shack that we're doing comedy in. And I go to Jim. I go, man, I hope there's no chicken wire in there, man. We both laugh. As we walk in, we see a pool table, and right to the stage, there's chicken wire in front of the stage. He just looks at me and goes, like that. He had a very great way of laughing, and it was hell. That was my experience with chicken wire. Not a lot of fun.
You ever have anybody die at a gig?
I did. I had a guy have a heart attack at Governor's in the front row.
Wow.
He was laughing so hard he died.
Wow.
Killed. I have a habit of killing people.
And so did your family.
Exactly. Except I do it a little differently. I don't use a gun. I just show up. They die. Well, we played a place, Venetian Shores in Lindenhurst, which is a beach club. And we just stopped one song, and the singer was counting off Wooly Bully. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And on 4, that we just heard a squeal. Ah! And the guy dropped dead in the middle of the dance floor, or dropped down and basically was having a heart attack, and they, trying to revive him. Nothing's working. And so they said stop, and an ambulance comes, and they're trying to revive him. Finally, they put him on a stretcher and put the sheet over his head, put him in the back of the ambulance. And everybody, okay, go 1, 2, 3, 4, like right back into the song.
Bully, bully.
I didn't even know the guy died at Governor's. And apparently they took him out while I was on stage. Were you there, Joe?
No, I don't know.
Yeah, the guy died, and I didn't even know it. And they took him out while I was still doing my act. I didn't even know it. He was pretty third row.
Wow. Mary Ellen Hooper was playing up the Callaloo Cafe in Morristown, New Jersey, and a guy up front was heckling her, right? And she got him thrown out, and he was really drunk. So he threw out, and he went outside and got hit by a car and got killed. I don't know if it's the same thing. I don't know if it's the same thing.
How to deal with hecklers 101. Yeah, I like that. Just throw them out into the traffic.
There you go. I was a bouncer for years, so trust me, man. I've thrown my share of guys, drunk, whatever, literally into the gutter. And what happened to them after that, I don't know.
Right. I showed up at a gig one time, and we were in Upper Brookville, and a guy coming up to greet me, the guy who owns the house. Hey, how you doing? And I noticed they're pulling a body out of the front door. And it's 2:00 in the afternoon. It was a day with a double. We had a private party at his place, and I said to him, "Oh my God, what's it?" He goes, I said, "I guess you're gonna want to, reschedule. I see because they're pulling that body out and putting it in the ambulance." He said, that's just my mother. No, don't worry about it.
My mother?
His mother just died, and he's still throwing the party. And he let me show you the tennis court, and he wants to show me around the place, and I'm just like freaking out because, but your mother. And so we start to play the gig, and they put us in the woods. And this guy's got like a huge piece of property, and we're in a cabana in the woods playing there 500 feet from where the audience is. We can't see the audience. We don't even know they're there. We take a break, and we're up by the fire pit, and there's a mound that's like 6 foot long, like a mound. And we're eating, taking a break, and somebody said, "What's that all about?" I said, "That's when it got Grandpa buried." And my singer started choking. I have to Heimlich him now. Because he's laughing at the joke about that. So we go back and play, and I lost my mind. I was like, I'm in the fucking woods playing for nobody. I don't even know what this thing is about. So I just, in the middle of the song Spooky, I just decided to have a psychotic break and think I was Jimi Hendrix and turned up the distortion all the way and just went nuts playing as crazy as I could. And the cops came and shut us down. Wow. And the cops got us in the driveway, and they're complaining. It's 3:00 in the afternoon. It's too loud with And I just said to the cop, I said, you got a fucking problem here. This guy's pulling dead bodies out of the house left and right, and you're fucking complaining about me being too loud at 3:00 in the afternoon. There's something wrong with that.
Wow, that's crazy. That is crazy.
And so you have a career in radio, and I have to bring it up. The Mind Dog TV podcast. Like I said, you've been so gracious for your time to have me on several times, and you've had us on. Tell us about how that started and how it's going.
Radio started as just a whim. Somebody challenged me to do a radio show back in late 80s. It's just like, you know what? WNYG 1440 in Long Island. Anybody familiar with that? It used to be BAB AM.
Oh, yeah, BAB.
Yeah, BAB's AM side. That's where I was. And
Who was that guy? Who was that guy that used to be a DJ and then he ended up owning the state?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Bob Buckman?
Yeah. What's his name, Joe?
Bob Buckman?
Bob Buckman was the program director and morning guy at BAB FM.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and this was after it split, and there was BAB AM and FM, and then AM got bought by WNYG. And so Joel Martin was the news guy there, if you remember him. So I was doing a radio show there because it was an oldie station now, and they were getting nobody. So it was easy to get a job saying, I can sell my own sponsorship, get my own show together, and they were fine with that. So I had a midnight show. We're talking to UFO people, conspiracy theory people, Bigfoot people, all that kind of stuff. And
you'd have a lot more guests today.
Yeah. Well, at the time, there was no shortage of crazy people at that time either. I mean, I had a guy who was
as opposed to now.
Paul from from the planet Ooh, a guy who claimed to be from planet Ooh. I had guys who claimed to be on the Philadelphia experiment ship, and a guy who claimed to have gone to Mars and met Elvis on Mars. Wow. Legitimately crazy people. But at some point, I went to a friend's wedding. So I had to take the night off and not off, but I had a friend start the show for me. The guy had no experience in radio at all. I'm at my friend's wedding, and I got drunk. I split my pants right on the dance floor, and from that moment, I said, I'm going to get hammered. And I got hammered, and after the wedding, I'm going to go to my radio show now. It's about an hour and a half in. I get there, and I'm hammered as complete. And Tony Danza's on the line, but the engineer can't figure out how to put him through. And so I start banging on the desk. I said, "What's with this place? You can't put a friggin' phone call. You can't put a friggin' phone call. Put the friggin' phone call." And at some point, friggin' just slipped out to fucking. And I went, "I can't believe you can't take a fuck." I think my radio career is over. And I kind of went into a psychotic mode at that point, lost my temper, picked up the television. And when you remember big television sets when they were big and wide, I had it over my head ready to throw it through the control room. And my friend who was subbing for me said, "Doug, stop!" and meanwhile, the studio was cleared out. And so I kind of got blacklisted as the guy, who said, "Fuck on the air." I couldn't get a job again, so I kind of gave up on radio. So 30 years goes by, and I figure, you know what? I really love being on the radio, and podcasting was back and, or was starting to happen. And I said, I'll just start a podcast. Why not? Nobody can fire me for saying fuck on the air then. And so that's how that came about. And I started with the same crazy people, the UFO people. And I just decided I've had enough of that insanity with people with their weird conspiracy theories, flat earthers, all that kind of stuff. So I try to get away from that. Still have them on occasionally, though.
Yeah, I know that you've had Tommy Chong on twice, like I said, and you actually jammed with him the second time, right? Yeah. That's got to be. To me, I think that's probably like the highlight. But anything else stick out on Mind Dog that you really love and remember?
Well, where do I begin? I had well, first of all, I had a comedian book. Basically, I got a lot of PR agents who were booking their clients, and one who was pretty reliable said, "I have a comedian for you." For Tuesday night, okay, book him on. And so I didn't I couldn't find anything about him except that he had a channel on Twitch where he was a gamer and doing stand-up comedy. But he didn't seem to be doing that anymore. It's like, this might be a tough interview. I get there and I look in the mirror and the guy looks like he's in a friggin' personal jet, like a private jet. So I bring him in. He's not in a private jet. He's in a Hyundai, a car, and he's in a mall parking lot. I said, well, "Are you in a car right now?" He said, "Yeah, well, this is kind of home. We're living in a Target parking garage, him and his girlfriend."
Oh my God!
Now, he's a diabetic with a really bad eye. Whatever his condition gave him, like almost one eye, one eye that just kind of goes that way, and it's all like blown out of proportion. So he looks kind of funny. It's like in his 60s. Gray beard and stuff. And I said, well, it's got to be difficult doing stand-up comedy living in your car. He said, I'm not doing stand-up anymore. I'm a sex worker. I'm an online sex worker. I'm like, who the hell's paying a one-eyed, gray bearded old man in his car?
Move it this way. Move it this way.
You'd be surprised, Matt. Matt, you'd be surprised.
In his car with his girlfriend living with him. He's basically beating off on videotape and I was just like blown away by that. So I basically
he had a PR guy. That's let's get
right. I said, how the fuck does a homeless guy living in his car beating off for a living have a PR guy? And I don't have a PR guy.
There's another one for you, John. There's a nut for every bolt, right?
That's funny.
I also had a guy on who he was a kid. And he had his microphone like this, but in the background, his family was eating dinner. And his sister was there, and she only had a shirt on, no shorts, no nothing, just a T-shirt on. And she would get up and chase the dog around, and with her ass flopping around behind the guy while I'm trying to have a conversation with him. And the kid had nothing to say. He asked to be on the podcast, and I was interviewing him, and every answer was, yeah. So finally I said, Tanner,
we interviewed your sister?
Maybe some amphetamines might help this interview a little bit. Cocaine, you got anything that could kind of
cough syrup,
Red Bull, anything. But I've had a lot of those experiences on the podcast.
You shared that clip with me. I don't know if you made it public, but you shared. I found it fascinating.
Yeah, the racist dwarf was I think probably the highlight. I had to pull that one down, but the guy, his name is Ed Gale. He's the Hollywood go-to little person. He's in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? He's the voice of Chucky. He's Howard the Duck. He's the guy in the duck costume.
Oh, really?
I remember Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? So I think I know the guy you're talking about.
Yeah, I remember Howard the Duck.
Yeah. Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou? You don't know that movie? It's Coen Brothers?
I do. Yeah. I remember. And I remember the
little
person.
The little person, midget and broom and whatnot. Homer Stokes has the midget and broom and whatnot. Yeah, he's the midget.
Oh, my God.
But he's also like he's a Republican gay person, okay, which is kind of weird because I don't see a lot of gay people in the Republican Party, but there are some. But he's also married to a black Filipino guy, and he's a rabid racist. I mean, every other word out of his mouth was the N-word, and the way he was describing people was like he has no respect for people of color whatsoever.
So the casting was right on in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Because he played a Klansman. He played a little tiny Klansman.
Right.
Oh, God.
Right. But just ranting on, and you would think, somebody who's a dwarf and he's gay, he's got to be at least a little bit sympathetic to people.
I'm sorry. I'd have kicked him like a football. I would have
Yeah.
kicked him like a football. I'm sorry.
Just mean and ugly spirit as possible. And I had to pull it down, and I called his PR agent. I said, don't get me any more guests ever again, because you could have at least checked this guy out and let me know what he was like. And the guy wanted to be my co-host when I was signing off. Oh, yeah, I'm free to do this with you every night if you want. I was like,
Oh, my God.
no, thank you.
You know, I'm still reeling over the gay Republican thing. To quote the comedian Harry Friedman, that's like Klingons for Captain Kirk. It just doesn't fit. It just doesn't fit.
Right. Yeah.
I think that's probably the only time Harry Freeman's ever been quoted in his life.
Well, I'm happy to do it.
And it all started with Jews for Jesus. It's like, geez, give me a break, will you?
Yeah, right. Well, Matt, you're always so much fun to talk to. Like I said, I've been on your show for an hour and a half, and it's just great. But we're gonna wrap this up. If you have anything you want to push, anything you want to add, just let us know.
Well, I got next week. I have Henry Phillips on Monday night. Henry Phillips, a great comedian, musician, chef like you.
There you go.
He's got Henry's Kitchen is a pretty popular YouTube channel. He'll be on Monday night, and then sometime next week I'm going to have Paul Provenza on again. I was supposed to have Paul on last week. Technical issues.
We're having Paul Provenza on too. I was a good buddy of his.
Oh yeah. Oh good.
Yeah.
Well, Matt, thank you very, very much. And underneath you, people are going to see the website so they can go and enjoy your podcast and everything else that you do. And we want to thank you for being here, man.
Thank you for the guest, and thank you for getting us away from the Bitchin Baby Boomers.
Yeah. It's definitely been a pleasure hanging out with you too, man.
Yeah.
An interesting guy.
Yeah, interesting stuff.
My pleasure. Thank you.
You know, you changed my opinion of you. Really? Yeah.
All right, Matt. We'll see you soon.
All right, man. Thanks an awful lot.
Thanks, buddy.
We have kind of a sad thing, right? Well, actually, I don't think it's sad. I don't think it's sad. We have a really dear friend of ours, Howard Jacobson, who just passed on, and he was, 93?
93.
He went over the Rainbow Bridge.
93. And he did stand-up almost till the end.
Yeah, and I started with him in 1987. He was 57. I was 27. But we started comedy the same time at Eastside Comedy Club.
The funny thing is, I remember him from, 35 years ago, and he was old then.
Yeah.
He was
always old.
Everyone who made a film or did anything on Long Island or a comic, he was the old guy in their stuff. Just a great guy.
He was just a sweet guy. He was just, he never had a bad thing to say about anybody, and he was just kind of nice. Anytime I had a show and he showed up and he's like, do you think you can get me on? I go, you're on. You don't even have to ask. You know what I mean? I just, So I think it's, our hearts go out. I mean, we can only all be that lucky to do stand-up till we're 93.
Yeah. Howard, I talked to Howard back in May on his birthday, and he was still telling jokes. And he remembered you really fondly, John, because you were one of the first people to put him on every Thursday when you're at Eastside.
He remembered you fondly because he had Alzheimer's and.
So, do we have a copy of his stand-up or anything?
We do. We have a clip of his stand-up. He was known for being. I'll let it speak for itself. I'll play it right now.
Peace, Howard.
One more impression. Do I look like the guy on the Monopoly board? That's why I carry this, my Monopoly Express card. I go no place without it. I love Monopoly. It's a great game. It's played in something like 21 different countries and 80 different languages. In fact, last Christmas they came out with Junior Monopoly for kids. Anybody buy that for their grandchildren or kids? Too bad. Well, I figured Junior Monopoly, what are they going to have next year? This Christmas I'll probably come out with Senior Monopoly. This will be a little bit different. The total should be something like an orthopedic shoe, polyester leisure suit, enema bag. Community chest will probably sag. And the chance cards will read something like, go to Miami, go directly to Miami. Do not pass gas. Do not collect your Social Security check. Another one will be like, you've developed Alzheimer's, forget your next 3 turns.
All right, so Howard, we all wish you. We'll see you again. We'll be all laughing with you again someday, and we
Love
can't
you,
wait.
Howard. Love
Rest
you.
in peace, buddy. Rest in peace.
He's the best.
So hey, that's our new show, The Big Bad Broadcast, and you want to see us? Go to our webpage, www.thebbbradio.com, and follow us on our Facebook page at The Big Bad Broadcast.
And go to YouTube. Watch it on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Like the video on YouTube. Make a comment on YouTube.
Or we're sending Mike to your house.
Yeah.
We'll get Lenny. We'll get what's his name? His neighbor's dad.
Listen,
Luka
Matt Nappo.
Brodsky.
He'll play music and you'll die.
And Joe will give us the website address for Instagram and
Right.
what else?
You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter and just
And
find
one of those addresses, Joe.
BBB.
You go to Instagram and you look up the Big Bad Broadcast, and there you go. There you go.
Instagram is the Big Bad Broadcast, and Twitter is the BBB Radio, the BBB Radio podcast. And by the way, that's the best $11 we ever spent, and I'm glad we're still invested in that.
That's right. So anyway, we're going to get out of here, and we got some great shows coming up.
Bye.
Take care.
See ya.
Please remember to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. Thank you.